Hello, my name is Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for GamesBeat and organizer of the GamesBeat Next conference. Our big theme for the conference is Playing the Edge. And it's all about the technologies and other initiatives at the edge of the gaming industry that show some promise in making it much bigger someday. And our conference is all about this, and user-generated content is one of the areas with the most promise. And so here to talk about that in our special preview session here for the conference, our online session for the conference, which is going to be in person, is Nicola Sebastiani, Chief Content Officer at the Sandbox. And Nicola, you've had a very interesting journey in the game industry, working at Apple Arcade, PlayStation Studios more recently. What do you like about game?
Hi, Dean. I love games. I've played all my life. Played a lot on console, play a lot of mobile. I love tabletop RPG, DM'd over 2,000 sessions. I was really fortunate to turn my passion into a career. I started with an entry-level QA job at Square Enix during college, and then eventually I made it into Ubisoft in San Francisco, then Apple, then PlayStation. My main goal is really to create fun for players. I'd love to help creating experience that add to a player's life, to a player in life. And like many industry colleagues did with me, that special moment is really what motivates me. And that's really what I strive for.
Mm-hmm. And it's quite a switch for you to actually go over to the Sandbox. I guess what was the attraction for you there? And the Sandbox has been quite successful as well.
Yeah, it's a big switch after so many years in mobile games. Although that's also part of our plans in the future. But I think that we are at a critical time in gaming right now. We are entering what I call, or what I like to think of, a creator economy, where UGC is taking over and where everybody can just start a studio and build and make something, and ideally make a living with it. You see that it really impacted the video industry during the past decade. Think of YouTube. And I think we're in a great position to be successful in this tidal wave. Other things I love about the Sandbox is that it's very global, lots of creators, strong base in Asia, and also the decentralized nature of it. I think that providing that extra leverage and ownership to creators over their work and giving the community a lot of power is a unique selling point and is something that will really pay dividends in the future.
Mm-hmm. And you recently joined the Sandbox as the first chief content officer. What are some of the priorities you have right out of the gate?
My main goal is to ensure that creators and players have a blast. I need to establish and foster a great ecosystem of partners from all over the world. Here I'm thinking of large devs like Ubisoft, but really also the scrappy 2-people team from a garage. Anybody who loves games and entertainment and wants to express themselves should know that we're listening, that we're inviting them to reach out. I also oversee our portfolio strategy. So what is the narrative of the platform? What is our tone? What are the type of experiences that we want to push? And I make sure that our content caters to a wide audience. It's diverse, it's in different genre, it's unique, and it's also relatable. And also I manage our internal studios and our close partners, which are building landmark experiences based on our brands like Snoop Dogg or Catero.
Mm-hmm. And how do you set the Sandbox apart? What makes you a great UGC platform, and what are your benefits?
I like to think of us as a social platform, really. We have this vibrant community, people support each other. There's players, there's creators, there's brands, there's celebrities. And we're really trying to give everybody an opportunity to connect, especially creators with brands and celebrities, for example, by running game jams that are IP inspired. Today, most of our content is games. I don't think it has to be that. I really want to encourage everyone to express themselves in the way that they want. So go make a fashion show, build a music experience, build a virtual home, build an interactive story. Where no code, you can just download the game maker and start building with no skills and no coding skills. And also we have, I believe, very positive economics for creators. 5% platform fee, half of which gets then reinvested in the community via the Game Maker Fund and other programs. And finally, I think if today you make the first big hit game on the Sandbox, you get to a level of visibility, a level of success that's going to be way harder to reach than other platforms.
These themes you mentioned are very trendy today, but it's interesting how the Sandbox got started on them a long time ago. I guess it's sort of ready for this day.
You're right. Like it was one of my very first meetings when I was in a big mobile platform, and I've known the founders for a long time. I experienced the Sandbox through mobile and its various iterations, and it's beautiful to see what they made out of this, and I'm excited to be a part of its future.
And I guess how are you going to access the creators, I guess?
So first I want the experience to be fun, engaging, meaningful, and I think we have to access two different types of creators. On one hand, you have large brands, intellectual properties. How do we make them inspire? Probably through in real life activations, events, anything that can extend as well outside of the Sandbox. I also, as I mentioned, I want the community to have a part in it, participate in creation, for example, with those IP-driven game jams. Instead, for smaller creators, I want to invite them to experiment, build, break, tell us what works, tell us what doesn't, and so that I can go back to our product team and together we can build tools, programs, adapt based on what they want. Something else I really care when it comes to creator is being a place where a variety of projects, causes, institutions can be discussed, can gain visibility. And I think this is very much in line with the more mature tone that we have compared to other platforms. And again, something that differentiates ourselves.
And how are you going to fill the map?
The map is the core interface of the Sandbox. It is the first thing you see when you arrive on the website, and it's populated already with a diversity of experiences. And I want it to really thrive and have a lot of those. So coming very soon, we're releasing self-publishing. This will help achieving the goal by empowering creators and landowners. If you own one or more plot of lands, now you can just automatically publish whatever you create. I know that not every creator has a land. And so we're creating pathways and solutions that can be beneficial to the whole community on how those creators can participate and be active on the map. Now, when it comes to the type of experiences, we're thinking about a very diverse portfolio, but also we don't want to fully reinvent the wheel. We want creators to see what works out there and what the audience wants and bring it to the Sandbox. When it comes to larger IPs, we are developing multiple experiences. So you're not going to see one experience per IP or per brand. You're likely going to see many. One might be a social interaction. One might be temporary, tied to an event. One might be a game. One might be just something created by the community and endorsed by the brand.
So creators are, clearly a major part of your focus. Like, how do you see the role of creators in the gaming industry?
As I said at the very beginning, I think they're at the forefront of gaming. especially as the barriers to create, to make games, to make interactive entertainment are lower. They are this big part of our growth as an industry. However, I think it's very hard for most creators to make significant revenue out of their work. And in mobile, but really in in the traditional gaming industry, the pie is very top heavy. The winners take most of the revenues. I would like the sandbox to be different from that. I would like the rewards to be more spread out across the community. And I would like to use my experiences in building and managing platforms, dealing with creators community to empower creators to get there with a fair economics for everyone, and for them to keep pushing them to move fast, break things, do it all over again, and help us become better as a platform.
Now, there is a lot of growing competition for those creators. Everybody wants them. What do creators look for when they're deciding which platforms to invest their time in?
I think fair economics. We're seeing that the big platforms, the big engines that came with a fair economic ultimately had a lot of success out of it. Creators are the lifeblood of those. So we need to reward them. We need to share success with them. Professional development opportunities, continuous education, essentially reinvest in your creators to have them build the skills, go from good to great, become better and better, or as good as they want to be. And then I think something really important is a friendly and supportive community. A community that creates, that fosters a sense of belonging, where people can make friends, they can build reputation, they can find their team. I met several creators in our community that are there for the social element. They want to build for themselves. They enjoy voxel, they enjoy building, they share it with just their friends, and it's a beautiful dynamic, and it really creates a unique sense of connection and a different way to socialize. And we've seen it in PC MMO, we've seen it in mobile, and we are seeing it now in user-generated content.
So the creators might be attracted to the platforms with the largest number of followers, but Web3 isn't there yet in terms of audience. How can you sort of tout some other advantages besides just the raw numbers?
Yeah, even if we are Web3, we have a significant audience. We have over 5 million accounts. Our alpha season 3 had over 350,000 active users. And our most visited experience was visited over 1 million times. So there's still like a significant number of players for a creation out there. Now, I think the extra benefit of being Web3 are around the ownership that you get from what you build, and also the fact that this is likely a very dedicated community that really cares about what they get into, that really wants to advocate for it, that really wants to influence it. And once again, we think that this is another lesson we got from traditional video games, is getting communities that care and that carry you over the years is very important. So I'm confident that creators can find strong fans on the Sandbox.
So let's talk about gaming as a community engagement tool for brands. As you start to work the Sandbox's portfolio of partners, what do you hear most often when it comes to their objectives?
Brands are obviously cautious, but they also recognize how important those kind of experiences are, what the big difference they make compared to traditional, let's say, video ad. They do want a different entry point for their audience so that they can extend their engagement, they can educate their audience to think they will normally not learn, like, what is the history of a product? We did something like that with Gucci Vault that was very well received. But brand also come to us because they want exposure to a new audience. And that maybe goes to what you were saying about the Web3 audience, like maybe a different demographic or maybe a different taste, or maybe an audience that has a lot of influence and that is really vocal about what they like. We recognize that both interactive entertainment and Web3 is very much an uncharted territory for brands. So as we enter this new era, we're trying to give as much education as possible. We want to support the partners so that they learn, they know what they're getting into, and then they can thrive. And we do involve a lot of teams in the creation process for working directly with the brands. We have narrative designers, multiple artists, level designers, producer, business managers. We really put a lot of care in the experiences we do with brands, and we want brands to be very proud of what they release, those experiences to add value. Are they fun? Are they insightful? Are they special? And we, at the same time, want to feel really good about what we launched that has a brand name. Everything we launch, but even more so it has a brand name.
Are there some examples that you can think of very interesting experiences or games that you want to see on the Sandbox? Things you want to see more of?
For sure. I was recently playing an unreleased game called Astro Archaeologist, which is going to launch soon. It shows the ingenuity of our creators. It's isometric instead of the traditional third-person view. It has an aspect of action adventure, but even like some role-playing into it. It's really clever. It really shows that they can push the boundaries. Something that is already out there, but is completely different and goes talking about the causes is Pentopia, which is Asia's first LGBTQ plus metaverse. That's, again, unique, and we think really cool that we can host something like that. And things that I'm looking forward to, well, the whole Snoop Dogg series of experience that the team is working on are going to be very interesting and very cool. And you probably are seeing these days on a season or coming soon called Dr. Bomke's Trials, which I think is going to be an interesting series of challenge that will also introduce a new villain to the world of the Sandbox.
Interesting. Do you have some thoughts about the metaverse? It has been overhyped a bit, and some people think it's dead, but I don't know. What's your view?
I think it's something that's still getting defined. I would say that the metaverse is at the crossroads of social network, entertainment, and utility. We are doing our part by really pushing those three aspects on the social network: interaction with community, the role of players and creators, and also having the community influence and impact our decisions. And we're going to keep doing more and more and give the community more tools to tell us which direction we need to go. Entertainment side, I think reasons for people to gather and share. So not only gaming, competing, building together, but even like share moments, go to a concert or watch a movie. And on the utility side, we have, for example, multiple institutions like banks that are part of the Sandbox. And how do we extend those experiences to make it useful in the same way that you will go to a website or an app? I think all those things come together, and shaping and through the work of companies like ours will define and create a full-fledged metaverse.
Like closing things out, if we look ahead 3 to 5 years, what sort of vision do you have for the future of game?
I see creators and developers getting more and more power, more ownership, and more right, especially as we are entering a time where we're becoming more screen agnostic, as PC, console, and mobile are probably one mean for big games to express themselves across different platforms. I think the West will continue to be influenced by Asia, but this time with less changes from the Asian-born games. And also, I think that the line between creators and players will continue to blur. Creating is going to become more mainstream and will be expected in more and more games.
Very good. Thank you, Nicola, for kicking off our GamesBeat Next conference here with this special online session and kicking off our theme about playing the edge. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.